like old times. Ariel and the bad guy. Oh, hey, Chael, how are you? I'm in a state of despair, Chael. I had Captain Eric here. I mean, you've seen Captain Eric. He played me in a game of darts on the line.
Oh,
On the line was if I beat him, Henry has to finally end the charade and come on my show once and for all. He tells Daddy, I'm going to be a man. I'm going to do it on my own. I'm going to come on the show. If he beats me, I have to donate $500 to his favorite charity for fighters from Ukraine. Chill, he smoked me. Captain Eric wearing a bedazzled outfit smoked me.
wow.
Could you believe that?
I'm surprised. I'm surprised to hear that. But
Yeah.
Captain E's got weird skills, man. He can jump rope as best. I mean, there's things about him that I do find surprising, but I would have thought you'd have beat him there.
Yeah. By the way, you changed the glasses again, huh?
Yeah. Well, and these are my final pair. These were birthday present, but these are the ones I like. I'm going with these.
You look like a mob boss.
That's what I'm going for.
And
Do
then
you like them? I mean, are these all right? They're prescription.
I know,
They're
but
they got a little tint to
they're
them.
tinted. So indoors, you're wearing tinted?
Indoor, outdoor, yeah, all the same. Yep, these are the ones. I went real light. It's called a gradual, or a graded, or something along these lines.
Why did you feel
it's
like
a very big decision what glasses you're going to go with. Believe me, I've gone back and forth several times, but I'm out. No,
Yeah.
I'm done.
Well, trust me, we've been talking about this for like a year and a half. You did a video on Saturday. You're wearing like a fedora, it seems, and the glasses, a whole different look. What was going on there?
Okay, so that was just multitasking. We had a fundraiser for the wrestling team out here, and we did Kentucky Derby, which largely all that meant is we all dressed up like fools, and then we played the Kentucky Derby for the 1 minute that it lasted. But when we had a nice meal and a band and everybody raised money, it was a whole thing. But I was trying to sneak out because I had to cover the Cejudo fight. Cejudo Sterling, very close fight, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have a big controversy there. I thought it was a close fight. I don't have a problem with it, in case you were wondering.
Yeah, no, I was going to ask you about it. First, I want to get the important stuff out of the way, like, your ever-changing look. And by the way, I don't know if you saw yesterday, I was filling in for you. I mean, these are the shoes that, you've worn so well. I was hosting the press conference with Jake and Nathan over in Dallas. And I was like, what, is Chael not available? I mean, I feel like he did a much better job than I've done in the past. Did you catch the presser?
I caught it. I caught it. I loved it. I was going to ask, because you did that today, right?
Oh, no, that was yesterday.
Okay, you said yesterday. I saw it today. I assumed it was today, but now it's making more sense. I was going to ask you how you got to studio. Can we go one thing at a time, though? Can we back up just to Cejudo's fight real
fine.
fast?
Sure.
Well, I have seen some people arguing about that match. One thing about fighters, and it's really hard. Every fighter knows that I'm right, but every onlooker thinks that it's an exaggeration. When two guys walk to the ring, they both know who's going to win. Every time. Now, sometimes you will surprise yourself. I'll give you an example. There was nobody more surprised that Justin Gaethje beat up Tony Ferguson than Justin Gaethje. Both of them went to the ring to put Ferguson over, and then sometimes you outperform or the guy underperforms and you get a different result. For large part, though, broad stroke, they know what's going to happen. And when you do look at the fifth round of Henry and Aljo had decided, I have enough points. I am going to give him the fifth round. I am not going to attempt to win it. I'm not going to argue that I won it. I'm going to let him have it. And one of the judges still gave it to Aljo. That is, if you wanted to look for a controversy, you just found one. Aljo does not believe he won the fifth round, didn't even try to win the fifth round, and they gave him the fifth round. I just share for you, that's problematic.
No, it's very strange because I thought the fifth round was actually the easiest round to score and in favor of Henry. It made no sense. Watching it live, I had 1-2-4 for Aljo. I thought the right man won. I think they took the wrong route to get to him winning, which is totally bizarre, and the state of judging is wacky. How did you score the fight? Do you remember?
I had it the exact same way.
Okay.
Exact same way as you did. But moreover, the athletes know, the athletes that are in there know. And they knew that Aljo gave away the fifth round. You remember Aljo versus Jan. I mean, this is a really risky strategy. When he fought Jan part 2, he won the first 3, thought he had him banked, threw away 4 and 5. Now, that's a risky game. I'm sure Ray Longo pulled him aside in the back and said, don't do that kind of math. It worked out tonight, but don't do it again. He did it again. But he openly gave away the fifth round. So for a judge to say that he did it, I think is tough.
Can I tell you one of my big pet peeves when talking about fights? When someone goes like, oh, there's no way that was a unanimous decision. That had to have been a split. It was too close. Or the opposite. That was such that's a definite unanimous, not a split. Do you understand how insane that is? That makes no sense. You agree with this, right?
Of course, of course.
That's not how fights are judged. Like, it's like one guy has a scorecard, the other guy has a score. It's just a thing that drives me nuts. People say that.
And Aaron, you've heard the weirdos go, oh, come on, man. That sure he won, but 30-27. Yeah. Oh, that's a bunch of crap. Like,
what?
What do you mean?
You just have
of course it could be 30-27. Right. It's simple math.
And then the one where it's like, he didn't do enough to take the belt away from the champ. Like to beat the champ. No, you just have to win 3 out of 2. It's like you could win them by the skin of your teeth. That's it. Yeah. Aljo wins. And then you have the moment with Merab. Kind of saved the day, right?
It was the best. That was the greatest thing on TV, right? For a few reasons. First off, if I could get away with that look ever in my life, and I'm talking about Sugar Sean, walking around with a Michael Jackson style jacket and no shirt on, if I was ever cool enough to have done that, I would have done that. He makes it work. He gets in there like a school bully. He drops the jacket. Now he's face to face with the baddest dude in the world. And then one of the onlookers takes his coat and puts it on. Now, the reason that's a problem, Sean must get the coat back. Otherwise, he has no shirt. He has to go back into the audience with no shirt and then back to the locker rooms and then onto the bus and off to the hotel with no shirt like a fool. He has to get it back. So he goes over to get it back. When he's getting it back, Aljo, the principal in this story, is cutting a promo to what they're referring to as his backyard. I mean, I'm from Oregon. If I go to the state of Washington, they're my neighbors nearby, but it's not my backyard. Maybe you East Coasters do think different, but we're all supposed to pretend that this is his friends. Fair enough. He's cutting a promo. Then you've got the greatest of all time who's removed his gloves. The removing of the gloves is sending a signal to Joe Rogan, who sends it to Craig Bersari in the truck. Don't go off air no matter what. This man is about to retire, and no matter what it costs us to buy 15 extra seconds in the window, we're doing it out of respect. Dana doesn't have time to deal with that. He's got to go over to the corner and make Merab give the coat back to Sugar Sean. It was the greatest part of the night, Errol, and nobody understood what was happening.
Yeah, it was incredible theater. It was absolutely amazing. Now, the fact that he took him off but didn't actually retire, I'm talking about Henry Cejudo. How do you feel about that?
He was going to retire.
You think so?
I'll tell you how I feel about it. I'll tell you, he took the gloves off. In that moment, he was retired. They took too long to get to him. Huh. In between him deciding he was going to retire and then finally getting him. And imagine being Henry. You're in the ring, your heart's broken, your gloves are in your hands, you're going to throw him down and you're going to walk away the right way, not the way you did it last time. You regret the way you did it last time with a pipe bomb. You're going to actually say and have the ceremony. Meanwhile, you're watching the 3 top-ranked guys in your weight. All of 3 are doing what you wish you could do. One of them putting a belt on, one of them agitating the crowd, one of them getting ready to be the next guy. You're sitting there, you're looking at him saying, I want this. I want all of this, and I want it from all of them. If I walk away, they take everything. If I stay, they don't. He changed his mind. When he had those gloves off, if they would have come to him sooner, like they should have, he would have been retired by right now. They came to him too late. He changed his mind.
Obviously, I'm assuming when I asked this, you wouldn't advocate for him to retire, right? Like he could still be a major player in this sport, correct? Maybe not 145, but stay at 135, right?
Almost definitely. I mean, an official judge on Saturday said he's the baddest dude in the world.
Right.
Like, of course, he's still competitive, and not to mention that was with a layup. I don't think that was the best Henry we've seen. I thought he dug really deep. I thought he worked really hard. I thought he got really fatigued about 15 minutes in, but pushed it out anyway. And there was nothing there that I saw from a physicality standpoint that says retire. I will just share with you because it's fun to do so. When he took those gloves off, he was done. They took too long to get him the mic. He changed his mind.
It's a real sliding doors what-if moment. Who wins, him or Merab?
Oh, I think that Henry would be real promise for Merab. And don't forget, Henry called Merab out for a couple of reasons. One of which is, I don't think any of them are fighting in August. I think that Dana got asked a question. He answered a question, and he just asked it too soon. I mean, just by example, Israel Adesanya is begging to fight. They can't turn him around in 3 months. I don't see how they're going to turn these guys around in 3 months to Dana's backyard and most precious card, which is Boston. I just don't think that was ever meant to be. But I'll tell you this, if Henry did get Merab in the spot that he called him out, he'd be getting him in a co-main event spot, and that's very relevant because if you can deal with Merab, and you're going to have to deal with him at some point, but you can deal with him for 3 rounds instead of 5, you're very wise to do so. And I think that that's the number one reason that Henry called for that spot. We had been given information that the main event was taken. Great. If I can get on the docket with him anywhere, it means I'm doing it for 15 minutes instead of 25. That's good business.
Now they did do a 25-minute co-main event on Saturday, so they could make that a 25-minute fight, right?
Sadly, you're right.
Yes,
Sadly,
sadly, yeah.
that is very disappointing.
Yeah.
All rules should be followed the same. I did not like that. I wasn't an advocate for it. And now we got to wonder. We got to look back and wonder, would Gilbert versus Blahal had been different? Just like I told you, everybody know when they're walking to the ring, both guys know who's going to win. Blahal knew 25 was good for me. Sadly, Gilbert knew 25 is good for him. We should have followed the sport with the rules that are set forth, and that match should have been 3 rounds.
I agree 1,000%. I'm okay with a main event on a fight night being 5 rounds. Now we're doing co-main events that are kind of like not even for number one contenders because Colby is supposedly next. It's crazy. Surely you agree with this statement. As a result of the victory and how one-sided it was, and as a result of the winning streak, and as a result of the fact that he fought Leon a few years ago, the next title fight at 170 should be Leon Edwards versus Bilal Muhammad. You agree with this statement, correct?
No.
Really?
Yes, Colby will be fighting for the title. I can't guarantee you it's going to be against Leon. I mean, if we're as good as the information that we've been given, it's going to be Colby versus Blahal, and they'll probably do it in interim championship.
What are you talking about? What?
However, I don't think that we're as good as the information that we've been given. I think that Leon is having some fun with us. I think Leon has the right to have a little bit of fun with us. I think as long as he wants to say no to Colby, eventually his phone will ring. They'll have a date. They'll have some details. I think it's at that time that he'll say yes. But Colby is next for the championship. If you're asking me who his opponent's going to be, we could have a little fun back and forth. But as of right now, it's going to be Leon and Colby. Muhammad will take on the winner.
You have more wins and fights than Colby Covington in the last few years. Like you have actually fought more than him.
Well, I'm not really seeing your relevance. If they called Colby and asked Colby to fight, and somebody else didn't get matched up with him, I'm not fully seeing the point.
How could you be the number one contender when there are guys who are fighting 3 times in 4 months, 5 times? You're like, what? In what universe is this okay?
Well, I'm not sure you're asking me. Is this like a got you moment? Colby Covington is the hardest opponent that Kamaru Usman's ever had. That's according to Kamaru Usman.
Yeah, so what?
Colby Covington would be the champion of the world if Kamaru Usman wasn't competing. That's a quote by Dana White. As soon as Leon became the champion, he said, I'll fight anybody except Colby Covington. That's a sign of respect to how difficult he is. I think that Blahal earned Leon's respect, but Leon should have used that. I mean, the time was too late. He should have used it. He should have said he stopped my win streak, and he stopped my win streak by poking me in the eye, and he poked me in the eye, which happens to be against the rules, and I'm not done with this guy. There was a number of ways to build some action there. Leon built absolutely none. In fact, when you turn somebody down, if you don't have another option, shut up. I mean, I've seen from principals and school board meetings all the way up to people in the White House. They make an idea, but they don't have a suggestion. He could have, and I'm talking about Leon, said, I'm not fighting Colby, I'm fighting Muhammad, and here's why. But he didn't do that. He just said no. So we now have a champion who the grand total of everything we've ever asked him to do, which is one thing, he says no to. That's a little bit ridiculous. Colby will be fighting for the belt next, and I don't care if it gets Leon or if it gets Blahal. I don't care who the opponent is. I haven't stated who the opponent is. It should be against Leon. Leon doesn't want to do it. It's no problem. We'll get Colby and Blahal. But Colby is in the spot.
I appreciate your loyalty and how good of a friend you are to him. I don't agree with what you're saying. In particular, don't agree with the fact that he didn't have a plan B. He did say Jorge, and Jorge had to fight and lost, right? So he did have a plan B. He said, let me fight Jorge. I want to get that one back. So it's not fair to say that he didn't say, but give me this guy. He did say, give me this guy.
Are you back talking about Leon?
Yeah.
Leon was pleading. Leon was pleading with the world that Masvidal get a victory. Masvidal was calling him out. He was trying to steal that fight. He tried to steal the fight, and Leon said, man, I'd do anything to give it to you. You just got to get a W. I get that. I think that 3-piece in a soda is a very real thing. I mean, I don't deny those, but if you're trying to talk about Colby and how active that he has been, Dana White came out. He revealed to us that they've offered him a total of 3 fights, and he has accepted, but the other people have not accepted. I think that matters. I mean, if a guy won't walk out there and do it with you or not, I think that you got to get credit for it. This was still the top guy. Colby didn't have any problems with anybody that wasn't named Kamaru Usman. He shows Kamaru that respect. But Colby's next. I'm surprised to hear you deny that.
Oh my God, it's one of the craziest things, and it has nothing to do with my feelings towards him. No issues, but like the guy hasn't fought in 15 months now. I mean, it's crazy.
Well, let me ask you a question then. Do you believe the Blahal's next fight, whenever that is, do you believe that Muhammad's next fight will be for the title?
I'm actually not sure, and I'll tell you. And by the way, Balal. Where's the extra H come from in that name?
I'm trying to do that. I'm trying to say Balal. I'm trying to say it correct.
Yeah, it's an easy one. It's Balal. Balal, yeah. Here's the problem. If, in fact, Leon's fighting in the fall, right? Because they just announced that the London card is a fight night, right? So it's Tom Aspinall versus Marcin Tybura. He's not fighting on a fight night. They said it was the main event.
I don't know what this means, by the way. I don't know the fall. It's October, November. I don't know what the fall means. When is it?
Well, you got to look at the schedule. Is it, I had heard that there was maybe some talk of Boston, by the way, for Leon and Colby. So, you said it's a big one for Dana. Maybe he gets his boy to fight on that card. There's September. I don't think he's gonna fight in Abu Dhabi in October. Do they wait till New York City, November? They put that on the same card as John Jones? Have a hard time believing. Point is, the longer they wait, now all of a sudden you have Belal waiting even longer, and crazy things happen in the sport, and maybe they say, hey, Belal, we want you to fight this guy, that guy. Do I think he should fight do I think Belal's next fight should be for the belt? Yes. The next time he fights, he should be fighting for the belt. And if it was up to me, Saturday's fight would have been a number one contender fight, and the winner of that fight would be fighting Leon next. I just don't know how you could sit here with a straight face and say that Colby Covington, who has not fought since March of 2022, deserves a title shot. I just don't know.
Sure.
In an era where everyone is a backup, there's a backup fighter on every card. Just because he's the backup fighter, Sergey Pavlovich was a backup fighter. He didn't get a title shot as a result. He just had to fight Curtis Blades. I don't get it.
You added a tough word there. I just asked you if Lahal's next fight will be for the title. You added the word should, but that changes it completely. I would co-sign it if the word should. I'm not putting should. I'm asking you for a prediction of will it be. And secondly, I do want to address this Colby going to England and being the backup fighter. That all happened, but never once, Team Colby, was the argument ever made that he should fight the winner of Leon versus Kamaru because he flew to England. Colby was the number one contender. And just to remind you of history, when Leon got the opportunity with Kamaru, he leapfrogged over Colby. And we all understood Colby was given 2 shots. Fair game. Somebody's going to leapfrog him. It might as well be. But we've never argued that because he got on a plane or he sat in the crown or Joe Rogan said his name. That was all done after the fact. I want to make one final point to you. At 170 pounds, if things are true as they've been exposed to us now, what do you do with Rakhmonov? I mean, whatever you do next for Rakhmonov, taking it and making it number one contender seems like it's off the table. And then what about Kamaru Usman? Everything from retirement, we'll never see him again, to he's 1 win away. I mean, it seems like you could get Kamaru Usman and Rakhmonov in there together, but if you did that fight knowing it's not a number one contendership because we're waiting on Muhammad, who's waiting on Colby, it seems like you've got a little bit of, it's a mess. You've got a mess. I like that word. I think it's a fair word. That's a mess.
You know why it's a mess? Because you're letting a guy who hasn't fought in 14 months or 15 months fight for the belt. That's why it's a mess. The division isn't moving along. We used to argue about guys squatting on their spot at 170. I mean, if this isn't squatting on one spot, I don't know what is. I love Rakhmonov versus Usman. Love that, because now you can either make a star in Rakhmonov or Usman kills a guy who's not quite number one contender. So it's not exactly Holloway versus Arnold Allen, which, by the way, I think you said something that I 100% agree with. Why are we putting guys who are number one contenders, who are already number one contenders, Arnold Allen, Dricus du Plessis, up there against the guy who has multiple losses to the current champion, right? July 8th, DDP is fighting Rob Whittaker. Rob Whittaker wins. Now you're doing the third fight with Izzy, and there's not a huge demand. Just do DDP versus Izzy. It's the same thing with Arnold Allen. Arnold Allen should have been fighting for the belt. Same thing with Belal. He should be fighting for the belt. You understand? So we agree on this, right? These are all crazy. What's going on with the matchmaking? Can you tell us? You got friends over there. What are they doing? What are they thinking? Joe Silva never would have done this. Joe Silva never would have done this.
I certainly do appreciate the way you're building Muhammad. I think that he deserves that. I just got to remind you, Colby wasn't offered some of those opportunities. Colby would have loved the Leon fight. I mean, going way back when it ended up being, Blahal in there with Colby. Colby's been wanting some matches. I'll just share with you. I mean, he was never even in the hunt of filling in on this late notice thing because they'd already anointed him and made him the number one contender. So there's a couple of opportunities where it wasn't quite apples to give it to Colby. And I mean, I do need to point that out. I love what you're doing, and I love that we found the right guys. I would also like moving forward, if a fight's supposed to be 3 rounds, then it's 3 rounds. I don't like the talk of 175, or if I don't care who can win if they weigh 175 pounds because it's not a weight class. I don't care who can win if they fight for 8 rounds because that's not the way this game is played. Let's follow the rules of the sport. I just offer that. That would be my request moving forward.
Okay. By the way, can Suga beat Aljo?
Yes.
How?
Sean can get beat out. He's going to have to do it on his feet. He's going to have to do it on his feet and rough him up. I mean, Aljamain Sterling, it turns out, is better than we knew that he was. And we knew he was pretty good, but he's better than we knew he was. I would have thought, knowing that Aljo's a wrestler, knowing he's a little bit younger, knowing his weight class, he would have looked up to Henry at some point in his life. He might have had a poster of Henry on his wall. He might have worn the Cejudo shoes. He, at a minimum, would have been reading magazines. To watch Aljo go in there and take Henry on at wrestling, go right into his best stuff. Sometimes he got tripped and went down, but sometimes he body locked him and took the Olympic champion down. To see the way that Aljo believed in himself, there was also a false narrative going around that Aljo can't go in championship rounds. That turned out to not be true. Aljo is dog tough. Henry himself said, man, they call him funky. I thought it's because he had bad breath. That guy is really awkward in some spots, right? I mean, he played up the angle a little bit, but it was good to hear. It was good to know. But yeah, sure, Sean can beat him. Sure. That's a really hard fight. I'm not predicting Sean for you, but can Sean go with him? Is Sean the right guy? You bet.
What about Matt Frevola giving you the old tip of the cap? Did you see that? That was kind of cool,
I
right?
loved it. It was very cool. I was with my family, so he made me look cool in front of my whole family. That was great. I thought it was a great call out, not to mention Patty the Batty did accept it.
Yeah, he did.
At least for now. I know that could be a moving target, but Patty said, yeah. He said, as a matter of fact, it'd be my easiest way into the top 15. Fair enough. He got a shot back at him, but I thought it was a good call out, one that was responded to. Let's make the fight.
Does that warm your heart? Like some of these younger guys referencing you, saying they want to be like you, or saying they watch. There's the guy in Cage Warriors whose name escapes me, who always references you, who DM'd you a long time ago, remember? And he just won, and he mentioned that he's coming and all that stuff. Like, to see the love that these guys have for you, that has to feel good, right?
Yes. Oh, it made me feel wonderful. It made me feel both of those stories. It made me feel wonderful. I did that a little bit where I would pay homage. I would show a respect to a guy's work, and they'd say I ripped him off, or Scott Hall said I owed him 10% for ripping off his gimmick, and I thought I was showing him a respect by reviving his gimmick. So I mean, it could go both ways. But no, when those guys did it, man, of course I loved it.
There's a young pro wrestler named Grayson Waller from Australia. Are you familiar with him?
Yes.
You are?
Yes.
He competes for NXT, which is the WWE Developmental League. Very good-looking guy, very fit. He's got everything, the clothes, the tan. I saw him at WrestleMania, did a little quick thing with him with the darts. Interview was done, said he studies your interviews in particular. He's trying to emulate you. He's a great heel for NXT, and said he was a massive fan. And this was right after you were in studio here, and he was like, I watched that. He is the best. I love Chael. And I was like, I'm sure Chael would appreciate that very much. So how about that? Getting the pro wrestlers to study you and emulate you and respect you, that's a huge feather in your cap too.
That makes me feel great. That makes a shout out to Grayson. I'll be going and studying him. I'll do whatever I can to put him over. Thank you for telling me that. This stuff goes a long ways. Means a lot.
Yeah. Okay, so I wanted to ask you about something else that you were just recently a part of. BKFC. What a night this was. Unbelievable. You were there in person. Eddie Alvarez, Chad Mendes. The main event was great. Platinum Perry has found a lane, a niche. He's the face of BKFC. Being there in person, what were your impressions? Can this be a thing? Like, are they a legit player now? What are you thinking?
Oh, yes. From a show and an entertainment standpoint, yeah. Oh, I've always been very impressed with Dave Feldman because I know he's got to have hard times. And he finally talked about it. He said that he refinanced his house. He didn't know how he was going to keep this thing going. But I will just tell you, from a production standpoint, like on the floor, these guys look and feel like superstars. Toe the line. That's very unique. The way the cage is set up. I mean, it's really a unique thing. And now he's bringing in these names. He's bringing in these attractions. As far as a night of entertainment, I mean, I was there and I had the run of show. I don't think this is a secret. Nobody told me not to say anything, but I had the run of show. We were supposed to go off air with Cowboy Cerrone doing a face-off with Mike Perry.
Oh, my God.
That is what the script said. And by the way, Cowboy and his lovely kids and his lovely wife were all there in attendance, so I believed it. I was then told that Conor McGregor is going to show up. Now, Cyrus told me this. I got to bring Cyrus along. Cyrus is a mark. Cyrus tells me, I heard Conor McGregor's coming. I said, he's not. Just so you know, he's not. He says, well, he might be. There's a rumor that he fueled up the jet and he's headed out here to give Dave Feldman $50 million. And it's like, okay, yeah, Cyrus, he's not coming. Oh, my goodness. You wouldn't believe it. Conor McGregor comes walking in. They don't have chairs for him. Feldman decides he's going to sit him next to him at the head table. The commission says no, so they scramble some chairs and they put him in the actual audience, but not at the head table. I watched this whole thing happen. Perry was supposed to call for Cowboy, like the show sheet said. He overlooked Cowboy, went to Cowboy. Then he thought there'd be enough time. I'm talking about Perry here. He thought there'd be enough time for Conor McGregor to get out of the ring and for Cowboy to get in the ring. They didn't have enough time. Eventually, they faded to black and through the credits. Cowboy was red hot. I don't know anything about the 50 million, but McGregor did show up. And as far as a night and a piece of entertainment, I felt like we got a real treat there.
Oh my gosh, it was incredible. Did you have a chance to talk to Conor there?
No, never saw him. Did you? I mean, never saw him face to face. Did you hear all those details? Has anybody given you that? I don't think anybody told you how we were supposed to fade to black and roll the credits. I think you got that from me.
I mean, last time you were on, you broke the news that Khamzat and Paulo Costa was set for Abu Dhabi. You told us that Darren Till is going to BKFC, although both items were refuted moments later on Twitter. Till refuted it, and Costa refuted it as well. But it seems like the Costa thing is going to happen. What about Till? I mean, you were there at BKFC. Is he just playing around? Till versus Perry is a money fight.
I didn't know Costa. I didn't know that one got refuted. I thought I got supported and proven right on that one. On the Till one, yes. I mean, make sure you understand to the way that I said it, which is whoever wins this fight, they are going to England. BKFC, I'm talking about. They're doing things in England. The winner could go to England and take on Till. It was very much a, hey, this is possible, as opposed to Till's, over the pond and he's waiting for the winner. If I said it that way, then I misspoke. But that is still alive. That is still a possibility. Till still seems like he wants to do something. Till's name is very big, Ariel.
Yeah.
When Till does something on social media or I bring Till up or something, I feel it. He's got a lot of supporters out there.
Do you have heat with him? I see him like tweeting you and you like, what's going on there?
No, I don't think so. I don't think I do. But Till has tweeted, but then they're always in disguise. Like it was like an emoji of eyes. One time it said Chael, like 5 Chaels. But I didn't like nothing. So then I'm left to guess if we've got heat or we're doing it back and forth. I don't mean to have heat with Till. I wish him well. And I hope he gets better. Something's hurt. I think it's his knee, man. I hope he heals up.
And then the problem is because Elon ruined Twitter, you don't know if it's the real, Till or not. It's a total mess. You know what I mean?
No, I don't fully know what you mean. It was the real Darren Till, but I don't know.
The blue check was the notification to the world that that's who it is.
And did you keep your blue check? Does it still exist?
Well, here's the truth. Blue check went away. It was a dark 12 hours or so. Log back on. Blue check's back.
Okay.
Then they told people you click on it. It says that I paid for Twitter Blue. Never paid. Would never pay. I mean, it's just insane. But then they took that part away, and it's just like, this is verified. This account is verified.
Okay.
So I'm verified. Didn't do anything. Do you have the blue check?
I have the blue check. I would not be shameful like you. I mean, if a guy paid $40 billion and he liked me to kick in $7, I would do my part on something I use every day. I'm a little surprised to hear you act as though you want to pitch in.
He's got the money.
But I will tell you this. I will tell you how annoying it is to see quasi-celebrities out there constantly pretending they didn't do it. Like, I mean, they really want the world to know, hey, Ian, they talk directly to Musk like their buddies. Hey, Elon, I've still got a blue check, but I didn't pay for it. What's up, man? Hey, do you need my credit card? It's like their way of acting confused while trying to let the world know that they're so connected they got one. And possibly it was even a personal favor from Elon Musk. Like, when I watch these guys do it, it's pretty disgusting. It really is.
It rubs you the wrong way?
It's just an embarrassing thing right? I mean, you got these quasi-celebrities on Twitter for the first place. Like, I'll come into the house and I'll be in a good mood. And Brittany will even say that to me. She'll go, you're in a good mood. You must have tweeted something and the Twitter sphere was nice to you. Like, there is a level of truth to it, though. I know real weirdos that, like, get depressed because of social media. I don't think I do what she said, where I actually pop up. But it is very strange when you have these multi-millionaires that are out there trying to push you to go see a movie or something, but they must take the 10 seconds out of the time to let the world know they did not buy it. They were given it. And you're all looking around kind of going, do you guys know anything about marketing? When Elon said everybody was going to have to buy one, of course he was going to take a select few known as influence and cool people and make sure that they have them, thus making the rest of the world want to be like them. It was so obvious, but these dum-dums just had to let the world know. It's a letdown is what it is.
All right, fair enough. Just a couple more before I let you go. Ultimate Fighter is starting in a couple weeks. When does this fight happen, Conor versus Chandler? What's your prediction?
All right, fair enough is what you say to me. I literally just said what every one of your viewers watching these arrogant pukes on Twitter that have to either buy the blue check mark or let the world know that they have one but didn't pay for it. Everybody has wished that they could say as eloquently as I just did, I happen to do on your platform, and your move on is, Fair enough. You move over to the Ultimate Fighter. What about the Ultimate Fighter? So we got Chandler versus McGregor. I mean, this is the fight announcement. I know where I was. It was Fedor Emelianenko's retirement fight. I was lost driving around trying to listen to that. Whenever that fight was the day that McGregor and Chandler got announced.
Right.
No fight in history has been announced that far back. Whatever that was, whether that's 3 weeks or 3 months, no fight in history has been announced that far back. We don't even have a weight class. If you ask Chandler, they're fighting at 55. If you ask McGregor, they're fighting at 70. Just by example, we don't have a venue. We don't have it on sale. We don't have 50% of the participants within the pool. This fight doesn't feel right. Something about this feels very off. Now, per the new dates that we're given it, of course, it's always a moving target, but June 1st, enter the pool by McGregor. Let's just say that's true. 6 months takes you to November, which takes you to Madison Square Garden, which removes Jones and Stipe. And if Jones and Stipe don't fight at the Garden, mark my words, them boys aren't fighting at all.
Why?
Something is holding this up. The first time I was told that Jones and Stipe were going to fight was on December 10th of last year. I was then told they're going to fight on March 4th, pull down the fireman, put in the kickboxer. I was then told by both of them on known as Twitter, they agreed to fight for the title in July on International Fight Week. That's now come off the board. They're going to be fighting in November, but those contracts are not signed. I'm telling you now, if McGregor, in fact, does enter the pool in June and his 6 months goes to November, he's going to take the headlining role at the Garden, and they are not going to look back at the 40-plus-year-old versus the 36-plus-year-old. It was very cool when Jones became the youngest champ in UFC history. It's not so cool that he's the oldest contender in UFC history. It's not the same thing.
Is there a chance then, if that doesn't happen, that we see Francis versus John Jones in 2024?
Yes. Absolutely.
Follow the money, right? Isn't this crazy, the slander that is being thrown Francis's way? I mean, I know you broke some news regarding Francis, but it seems like everyone's just rooting for his demise, rooting for him to fail. I find it very off-putting. Why are they doing this? Do you have any theory?
I feel as though they're trying to nudge him to hurry him up. I mean, I know they do it in a mean way, and I know it appears to be a way of hurry up. It feels like just a nudge. Hey, man, just get back in there. And there are some things that are unrealistic. If some of the rumors that we hear, and we're hearing them from very good people, so we do believe them to be true, it is weird. I mean, truly is, Ariel. I am on the side of treat the fighter well. I like that. I'm one of the original guys to start saying treat the fighter well. But at the end of the day, when all that nice stuff is done, at the end of the day, the fighter's going to fight because this guy paid him to do it. Okay, this isn't overly sophisticated. When we start talking about medical and board seats and what other guys are getting, you fight, you pay. Yes or no?
Yeah.
It's a pretty straightforward deal here.
Right.
And if he doesn't want to do it, fine. I mean, I'll just tell you, I don't know if you were throwing me in that group. I'm never trying to throw
no,
or
no,
do whatever.
No.
I would like to nudge him, though.
I would
like to nudge him in that direction.
Yeah, I think you've been fair. But look, he's trying to make a big decision. And you know what I think hurt him? Diaz made his decision relatively quickly. But let's not forget, Diaz was a free man as of September. Francis was a free man as of January, right? The Diaz fight was, why didn't anyone push Diaz to make a call? Diaz was free as of September. The call was made April, the fight against Jake Paul. That's the same amount of time. Why are we so willing to say Francis screwed up? He fumbled the bag. Like, chill out. Let's see how this plays out. If he gets millions of dollars, you know what I mean? It doesn't make sense to me, but we'll see how it plays out. So can I go back to Jake?
I don't think those two were played the same. No, I don't think that's fair by you. I mean, not for nothing, but Francis is welcomed at events, and they're right there in his home city of Las Vegas. Diaz has to travel in from Stockton and gets put on cameos next to his big brother Nick. I mean, there's a big difference.
Isn't that wrong? Isn't that wrong that he's not welcome?
On how these two are played. I watched Diaz as recently as yesterday with you talk about show his boxing skills.
Yes.
With Paul to return to the UFC. I mean, it does have a little bit of a different feel.
Isn't that wrong though that Francis isn't welcome? I mean, he made a business decision. He decided to go in a different direction. Why should he be villainized or vilified?
I think that's fair. I will admit that Francis has been very consistently a gentleman through this whole process. I've never seen Francis get mad. I don't know that I've even heard him curse. I think that's fair.
He doesn't throw dirt. What did you think of the presser? Because there were some people who were like, lackluster, no fans. That was a mistake. Like, what did you think? Did they do what they had to do? I was told the pre-sale did very well, but we'll see ultimately how it does business-wise. Pay-per-view, I think, is the big indicator. Your initial thought, these two guys going toe-to-toe.
Yes, I thought that it was a success. They're going to be confronted with the one question, which is, why are we fighting?
Mm.
What is this about and what is this for? It used to be about, we got to make the O go. Somebody from MMA's got to come over and take down the O. And I don't know how much it matters that Jake now has that loss. I think there's other things that you could build towards. Does the loser have to do something? Does he got to shave his head? Does he got to give his purse? Does he got to come fight in MMA? Like, I can live with just about any answer. I just need an answer. What are these two about to go and fight for? Why does it matter to them? That's their job, and they got plenty of time to tell us. But for the press conference, that was yesterday. Both of them came in. They did their part. They're entertaining. It was fun to see them. It was great to see you. I wasn't satisfied on the question of why are we here and what are we doing this for? I'm not satisfied yet.
Okay, that's a fair point. I'd like to ask that question. I like that very much. By the way, can I tell you my hot take? Izzy versus Pereira. If they don't make that fight next, big miss. The heat there is phenomenal.
Really?
The heat there is phenomenal. I mean, they're going back and forth a month later, and like the engagement on everything. Like Izzy is the biggest active star in the sport. And I say active because, like, Conor isn't fighting actively. Conor will always be the biggest star, but like active, the one who connects with the younger fans, the one who has the social media, it's Izzy by far. And he's got this feud with this guy who he's now, coming off a win, but lost. Don't you think that's a miss? That's a huge fight.
Yes, I do think it's a miss, and I'll see your hot take, and I'll read you another one. Whitaker, Duplessis, tear the contract up and pretend you never announced it.
Because?
Well, Duplessis is primed to be taken on Adesanya. I like your idea even more, Pierre, but Pierre went up to 205, so I don't want to put pressure on him. If he's coming back, then yes, it's Adesanya versus Pierre. If he's not coming back, it's Duplessis versus Adesanya.
Yes.
We don't need to do the Whitaker in between. Right now we got a champion, and the champion's only reward for being champion and being great, and as you said, being a draw and being a social media star, is that he's unemployed. The first guy we should be getting a job for is the champion.
Right.
But he's standing around there, no money to make.
By the way, how much do you love when I tweet about basketball and other non-fighting things?
I despise it. I despise it, but I get it. Look, you didn't do this. The sport did this. I mean, these guys give so little. I, at some point, get tired of telling their stories for that. They should be out telling their own stories. I'm giving basketball and darts a look. I mean, I'm not desperate. I haven't quite gone that direction, but I do understand why it would be done. It does get frustrating at some point to tell the stories of fighters that don't tell the stories about themselves.
Yeah. See? Now you understand. Even though you try to dunk on me and say, like, no one understands what you're saying, all kinds of stuff. Makes me feel... I'm
going to look into this Grayson guy, by the way. Grayson was very wise to have given me that compliment. He's going to get that back tenfold, believe me.
And honestly, truth be told, first time I met him, I was blown... In the interview, I was like, holy shit, this guy is like the second coming of The Rock. He had it all. The look, the clothes, the tan, the hair, and he had the gift of gab. Camera shuts off. What does he tell me? And I was like, of course you're a disciple. Of course you're a protege. Yeah, no, it was really amazing. Grayson Waller is his name, the pride of Australia. Oh, chill. I love you so much. Even though I feel like sometimes it's one-way traffic with the love. Like, I don't feel like I get, the love back all the time. I know you'll always be there for me. Most loyal guy in the biz. Thank you so much. Appreciate it very much. Check out the YouTube channel. I'll talk to you soon.
That's all true. See you, partner.